All right, so are you ready to dive in? Today we're tackling Bill Gates,
Oh, yeah.
but not the Bill Gates buys another island kind of stuff.
Right.
We're going way deeper.
Okay.
You wanted to know what makes the guy tick,
Er.
right? Like those early sparks that lit up Microsoft
Mhm.
and what he's obsessing over now.
And let me tell you, the stuff you sent over, it's amazing. We're going to uncover some really fascinating things today.
Everyone pictures Gates as this tech god, you know?
Yeah.
But the story about his childhood, it's kind of wild.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't just some smart kid. We're talking a kid who devoured encyclopedias.
Yeah.
Like they were candy. Can you imagine?
It really shows you something about him, doesn't it? Not just brains, but this real hunger for knowledge, like absorbing information on a whole other level, even as a little kid.
It's like he was practically born for the internet age, before it even existed. And get this, at 13, he's learning to program on what was it? A teletype machine.
Yeah, a teletype.
Talk about old school. This was the Stone Age of computers.
Right.
And he was already coding.
He wasn't messing around either. He was using those skills right away. Remember that tic-tac-toe program?
Yeah.
Simple, right. But it's like this pattern that keeps popping up in his life. See a problem, solve it.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But then you've got traffic data.
Right.
And that's where I was floored. Teenage Bill, still in school, but he's already seeing business opportunities where everyone else just sees traffic jams.
Exactly. Years before big data was even a thing, he could just look at a system, see what's clunky, and come up with a fix. Traffic analysis then, software later, same idea at the core, really.
And this wasn't just a hobby for him. This was a future titan, flexing those CEO muscles early.
And it's important to see this pattern, it just keeps going. It wasn't luck, it was drive, vision, and being bold enough to act on it. That's huge when it comes to Microsoft, how it all began.
So you've got this problem-solving superpower, this crazy drive,
Right.
and then bam, Microsoft blows up.
It's true.
It's almost like a cliche,
Yeah.
Two dudes in a garage, changing the world.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it almost didn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like this straight shot to the top,
No, not at all. Those early days were rough.
really.
Microsoft was on the edge, just barely hanging on, until that IBM deal.
Oh, tell me about it. That IBM deal's legendary.
Right.
But you know what gets me? Reading about how Gates pulls this off.
What's that?
He makes this huge deal
Huge.
for an operating system he doesn't even own yet.
Wow.
It's like, imagine playing poker with someone else's chips and
Oh.
going all in.
That takes guts. Talk about high stakes.
Seriously.
He really had a knack for it,
Yeah.
Not just spotting the opportunity, but selling that vision
Mm-hmm.
before it was even real.
Right. And then you've got the whole DOS thing.
Oh, yeah.
They buy the rights for what seems like pocket change now, right?
Yeah.
$50,000.
50,000.
That's it. For something that becomes like the most used software ever.
It's wild, isn't it?
Force.
Shows you how scrappy things were back then. Microsoft, they were nimble. They saw what DOS could be, didn't hesitate.
They took the risk.
Exactly.
That makes you think. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs, they come from seeing value where no one else does.
Absolutely.
We got to talk about the elephant in the room, though, right?
That's that.
This whole Windows and Macintosh thing,
Oh, right.
it's complicated, to say the least.
That's one way to put it.
It's a reminder that back then, the tech world, it was like the Wild West.
Cutthroat competition.
Exactly.
All bets were off.
And look, I'm not saying what went down was right, but you got to see how those choices, good or bad, they made the tech world what it is today.
You can't separate the two.
Okay, so we went from software master of the universe
Right.
to Bill Gates, like
Yeah.
savior of the world.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, we've all heard about the charity stuff,
Of course.
but this goes way beyond just writing checks,
Oh, absolutely.
This is laser focus on some seriously big problems.
Yeah. He's like, took that drive, that whole Microsoft energy,
Right.
and aimed it at the whole planet.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me,
Yeah.
the sheer size of it all.
It's a lot to take in.
Like polio.
Yeah.
We're talking wiping it out.
Mhm.
Who even does that?
It's unheard of, right?
These days, just the thought of making a disease disappear,
Seems impossible.
it's a huge undertaking. I mean, we're talking logistics nightmares,
Yeah.
reaching every corner of the globe,
Right.
making sure everyone gets vaccinated
Mhm.
for years, decades even.
It's crazy.
It takes everyone working together,
Yeah.
coming up with new ideas all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and being okay with setbacks.
Mm.
Most people would have given up by now.
Yeah.
Not Gates, though. He's in it for the long haul.
And then there's this whole diarrhea situation.
I'm not going to lie. Not what I picture when I think global crisis,
It doesn't make the headlines, but it's a killer,
Really?
especially in developing countries.
Wow.
And this is where Gates, he's different.
How so?
He doesn't just slap a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
He goes deep, finds the root cause.
Which is?
Clean water, sanitation. Remember that sanitation tech we saw?
Oh, yeah.
Revolutionary.
Right.
He's putting money into solutions that could bypass the whole infrastructure mess systems thinking again.
Okay, but then nuclear power. That came out of left field.
Bit of a head-scratcher, right?
Philanthropy and nukes don't really go together, do they?
Seems that way. But Gates, he's playing 3D chess here.
What do you mean?
Thinking decades ahead.
Okay.
Global energy needs, they're only going up.
Right.
He sees potential in safer, better nuclear power.
Ah.
He doesn't shy away from a tough problem, not if he thinks the payoff is big enough.
So it's not just about feeling good, right? It's about tackling the huge, messy problems,
Head on.
even if they're controversial,
Especially if they're controversial.
making a real difference.
That's it.
It all goes back to that Gates quote.
Which one?
The secret to business is knowing where the world's going and getting there first.
Ah, right?
Is that what he's doing with all this? Trying to win at saving the world?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does, and that's why I love these deep dives.
Me too.
Not just learning stuff, but
Aw.
really figuring out what it all means.
Unraveling the big picture.
Hey.
And Gates is a big picture kind of guy.
That's for sure. Well, thanks for coming on this journey with me, everyone.
It's always a pleasure.
It's a lot to think about, but until next time, keep diving deep.